Hey, what's happening, everybody? Rod J back again. Thanks for swinging by to check out another video. So tonight's a little bit different. I was actually going to just do a little bit of a commentary on a piece that I was reading, which I'll share to you here in a bit. Before I get started, I'm actually going to crack open this M43 New England style India Pale Ale from Old Nation. And thanks to Eric from Eric Alliance Fan, who actually sent this down, and you saw it probably in a more recent unboxing video that actually know the second most recent one. I forgot about the one I did yesterday. So, Old Nation out of Michigan makes some good beers. I actually have a review out there on this one as well, but he had picked up another one along with the other beers to shoot down. So I figured I enjoy this while I talk to you for a second. Oh, wow, that is so good. So there was a piece that I was looking at online that came out. It came from the Tampa Bay Times. And let me go ahead and pull that up here so you guys can see it. And I'll put the link in the description in case somebody wants to take a look at it and read it later. But it's talking about the Florida Craft Beer Guild and how Big Beer is now pushing them out of Publix. If you're not familiar with Publix, Publix is like a big grocery store chain through that area. Here in where I'm at in Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky, like for us, it's Kroger. But down there, they carry a lot of the main grocery type things. I mean, unless you're going like to a Walmart or something, and you think about your more directed type grocery store, Publix would kind of be this place. Well, obviously, they do sell beer there. And what they're seeing now is how Big Beer may be actually pushing out some of these smaller local craft breweries. And how it comes in is kind of like the power they have is given because they do have that clout from being pretty much a macro type brewery. And this is where it gets into the whole thing is if you're supporting craft beer or you're against macro beer, some people say they don't care, either way. It does come into play somewhat in how some of these stores will actually stock their shelves because they're going to go by people buying shelf space. One of the things that Publix makes mention of in this article is they were following the demands of the customer. But here's the thing. If you're the customer, how do you know what options are available? If you're only going to the store, you just see what they put out. So if a big brewery comes in and they have bought out some of these other craft breweries and they're putting their stuff out, then you're kind of thinking that may also be the local independent type craft brewery where really now it is part of the macro conglomerate, so to speak. So scrolling through this story, it gets down here, it talks about where the concern is taking place. The guild has reported that they say at least 12 small breweries have had merchandise reduced or completely taken off the shelves. Again, that goes to buying power. Makes me think back to Ice Cube and No Vaseline. Big Bank taking Little Bank. You got the big breweries taking out the little ones because they do not have the capability to pay what's needed to get that shelf space. They make mention here they're blatantly removing Florida craft ones, replacing them with beers purchased by these big guys. Is it a bad thing if you're out here and you're drinking, take a look back, some of the Golden Road or some of the Goose Islands? I mean, if you like them, drink it, enjoy it. Those are beers you like to drink, obviously. But it does make some type of impact there as well. As they said down in the one part here, when asked about the product shift, said a statement that monitors sales and customer demands could have changed, prompting a switch up. But again, if the other brands aren't in there, how are they coming up with that to say meets demands? If you don't know to ask for certain breweries because you don't see them or you don't know if they're independent, then again, that opportunity is really not provided to you, I guess you could say, in that type of regard. So just wanted to bring it to the attention of you guys out there, kind of get your thoughts, what you may think about something like this. When you go out and you enjoy your beers, you are drinking some of the other ones that are maybe not the craft, but does that really bother you, or have you ever looked at it kind of in this type of direction? Feel free to leave some comments in the comment section. I drink things like Lagunitas, which you've seen on the channel. I've drank in Golden Road. I've drank some of these other ones. A lot of people drink Founders, and Founders is under another one, even though it's a Spanish brewery, they are considered not to be as much craft now. All these different things are taken in place. I think the average beer consumer, it probably doesn't affect them as much, but then when you start seeing shelf space shrinking, does that become a concern? Because if you keep supporting some of the big ones and the ones that are actually buying, you may be shrinking your own shelves if you're kind of going to these type of locations. And I bring that up because in some areas of the country, the main place someone may buy craft beer, depending where they're at, may be through their grocery chain. Now, their grocery chain is no longer stocking some of the local craft breweries. They have no way to get any of the other ones, and that ends up hurting not just those local craft breweries, but essentially it hurts also part of their local economy, because those are people that have jobs and they're tied into the brewery. They're supporting that little region they may be a part of. So just something I thought I'd share on here, try and do some different things. I know I'll get back to some of the reviews, but we have a lot of beer reviews out there from all the different channels. So just try to mix it up and see if you guys like to hear some of these type of things and get your feedback on them as well. I'm going to go ahead and finish enjoying this beer. And if you've not had the Old Nation M43, definitely recommend it. You can, like I said, you can check out the video review here on the channel. Check out Eric, a Lions fan, as well, who sent this to me. But a very nice New England IPA. And Old Nation themselves at one point were in trouble, and it just became really revitalized over the last year when one of their beers finally caught on. So good to see them actually doing well. Where do we go from here as far as it pertains to these craft breweries and these crafty type beers, or whatever you want to call them, that are owned by some of the big macros? I guess time will just tell. But right now, the Brewers Association themselves, from things that I've been reading, are hoping that this is not a trend. You know, they got a lot of eyes on Florida. They're seeing other states that are kind of bringing in these other ones. I can tell you here locally in my store, Kroger, there is more shelf space starting to go out to like some of the Golden Roads out there, a little bit of the Goose Island, but we still have a good amount of some of the local breweries like Mad Tree and Rhinegeist, although I have seen some of their space shrink, but I've also seen some other local ones come in like Wooden Cask and some other breweries. So it might just be dependent on how much people raise in their own cities, their own locations for their own awareness. But just something to keep an eye on out there. See if your shelf space is shrinking by more of these macro-owned craft breweries. That being said, thanks for swinging by to check out another video. As I mentioned, I'll post a link to this article down below so you can check it out. I look forward to catching you guys next time. Remember, there's always time. Get your beer on. Cheers.